Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. This is Syed Atiq Hassan from Sydney, Australia. Today is Friday here, 10th of March, and it's about 2:20 p.m. I would like to talk to you in regards to the landmark visit of Australian Prime Minister to India. This is a 4-day visit, and before departing to this visit, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese claimed about this visit as a landmark, historic visit of India, where there is going to be landmark agreements will be signed. Dozens of MOUs will be signed between India and Australia. These two countries already have signed defense pact with America, UK as well. Four countries defense pact, and this is all happening in reference to the China as well, because China is rising in the region as well. But this is not the only reason. China is not the only reason, as there is no fear. There's not only the reason of the fear with the China, and that's why they are uniting. But matter of fact is that India is growing, India is rising, India is a big, showing that they are the big power, and they are trying to compete to China, and they have successfully made America, UK, and Australia to pact with India and make an alliance in the region, a stronghold in Pacific region. This is the things behind it, and I'll talk about what they are doing and what are the areas they are signing now. Now, last couple of days, Australian media are making headlines, print media, electronic media, on this visit of the Australian Prime Minister to India, and they are claiming this is going to be a landmark visit where both countries will sign billions of dollars of two-way benefits of the two nations. If you see Australian print media, ABC, they are making headline. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese declares India top-tier security partner during aircraft carrier visit. And similarly, when he arrived, Anthony Albanese already in India now, he was giving a full protocol with full Australian uh, security guards and Indian security forces. With the protocol, he was warmly welcomed by the Indian ministers and officials at the airport, and then by the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. Uh, Nowadays, there is a cricket match going on between India and Australia, test match. He also visited with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the stadium. He was giving warm welcome with the Modi, thousands of people in the stadium, and this is what India claims is the biggest stadium in Gujarat, in Ahmedabad, on the name of the Modi. And Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was looking very good. He was looking very happy with this, with his welcome to India. He went to important places, venues in India, especially tribute to Gandhi as well. So, so he is getting anyway a top class protocol, respect, honor by the Indian official and Indian politicians. Now, what particularly both countries, before departing to Prime Minister to India, he spoke to the Parliament, in the Parliament, about this visit. His ministers already also talk on this visit in the Parliament and to the media, and they said we are going to sign landmark MOUs between India and Australia, particularly in education. They are signing landmark agreement. They are saying that Australian universities will open campuses in Australia, in India. Two Australian universities, Deakin University and University of Wollongong, already agreed to open their campuses. They are working on it, working on this in India, where students now won't have to come to Australia to get Australian education. Universities are going there, Australian universities, and they will be maintaining campuses over there. So they will be studying in the Australian universities campuses and will get the degrees from these universities. And similarly, if they want to come to Australia, the government, Australian government, will be providing a lot of relaxation in giving them visas. They are expanding the quota of the visas, of different type of visit visas and permanent residence visas, professional work visas, and student visas. We have seen in the last few years that lots of Indians are coming from India more than from China. It used to be China. The biggest migration and people, tourists, used to come from China, but now India has taken over that place. And now the biggest, the more tourists and more business community are coming from India. And India is at the top now. And they are, if you see, the migrant community, India is on the top now. They left behind China. So they are doing a very good, maintaining the very good relations with Australia. And credit goes to the Indian government and their foreign offices. There was a time when Pakistan was too far in compare with uh, India-Australia relationship. The I'll let you know the details as well, because in 2003 I wrote the book on this, between the relationship and the contribution of Pakistanis in the development of Australia. So I wrote the book Australia for Pakistanis in 2000 and published in 2003. This book is available in few libraries in Sydney as well. So, and also available on our Tribune International website. You can download. In this book, I have actually documented the historical contribution of Pakistanis in the infrastructure development of Australia. And I go back to 1856, when the first three camelier were boarded by the British rulers from Karachi Port Trust uh, to bring 600 cameliers with three cameliers, and these cameliers were from Balochistan and Sindh. Um, uh, and then many labors from NWFP. At that time it is called Northwestern Frontier Province. Now it is called Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan and Sindh. Labors brought into Australia in 1860 to 1780, and they contributed. They actually worked for the development of uh, rail track, highways, roads, bridges, big buildings. They have contributed their lives working in there. Many of them died, and in the development of Australia from 1860 to I would say today. And today Pakistanis are in a big numbers now, but compared to India, we are not that big. But there was a time when Pakistani community was more stronger in various aspects compared to Indian community. But now India is holding now, and they are more than Chinese now. And if you see, if you go and see different departments and companies and all, you find India's are there successfully contributing, successfully working, and also making money and sending to their country as well. So they are benefiting India as well, Indian nation as well, and also for themselves as well. Australia, looking the regional politics, if you see, they are making a defense, many multi-level defense agreement with India. Uh, of course, China is not happy on that, but they have done this with their thorough research and considering the present day politics in the region. The India decided to ally with the with America, the UK, and Australia. Their foreign policy is very successful. Their foreign policy officers, their diplomat, their foreign office, their ministers, foreign ministers, they are sincerely work for their country, for their nation. And you can see now their example of their very successful policy is that India has made a defense pact with America, with UK, with Australia. uh, and same time they are uh, importing petrol, oil from Russia. And when America object on that, and they said, you don't need to, we don't want you to get oil, petrol or oil from Russia, because we have put ban on Russia due to the Ukraine and Russia war. And Indian foreign minister says, no, this is in our nation interest. We are getting cheaper oil. We can't stop that. I'm sorry. We are sorry. We have a good relation with you. We are making deal with you as well. We have made a defense deal with you. You are our defense partner. But we also have to same time think about what is in our country's interest and what is our nation interest. That's why we can't stop buying oil from Russia. And this is called a diplomatic policy, a successful diplomatic policy, which is India is doing. Now, what I have seen in 34 years, last 31st, living in 34 years living in Australia, is how the Indian diplomats work for the benefit of Indian nation and their country. They spend times. They have built. They have. They are. They maintain a tourist office here. They promote tourism here, and now lots of Australians every year goes to India, the tourists, because Australian nation love tour different places, and a lot of tourists take interest to go different countries for the sightseeing and all those. And India has not that many places where people can see the nature and all. Pakistan has, but what India has, Taj Mahal, and maybe few their religious places to see, the old one. Other than that, nothing is in there. But if you see in Pakistan, you see Kashmir, you see Baltistan, Gilgit Baltistan, natural and highest mountains in Pakistan. But our diplomats are failed to promote Pakistan tourism. They are failed to promote Pakistan economy. They are failed to promote Pakistan professionals. They are failed to have a big uh, agreement with the developed country like Australia to create opportunities for Pakistani professional, Pakistani students. Still, things are very hard for Pakistani students to come to Australia. The quota for Pakistani student to come here is far less than India and even Sri Lanka, even Bangladesh. Bangladesh has got more quota of Australian for students to come to Australia. Similarly, business community. India, if we go here today in the last 3 4 years, and you will agree with me, the people who live here, then we find if you go in hospitals, if you go in government departments, if you go in private companies, you find everywhere all Indians now, more than Chinese, more than Asian communities now, because they are doing hard work. Their diplomats doing hard work for their nation. And what's our diplomats are doing? Just having a very luxurious, lavish life on the money of the public accounts, people's money. They enjoy on the people's money. They come here with the cook, driver, car. Their driver and cook work at their home for their family, pick and drop their children's. The day they land in Australia. From the second day, they think about how to settle down in Australia. Many of the diplomats don't go back to Pakistan. I haven't seen any Indian diplomat remain in Australia after when they finish their tenure. But I can tell you, I know many, and all Pakistani community knows many consul, the former the consul general or trade council or high commission, they're all living here with the family. Because in their tenure of 2 years or 3 years, what they do is they actually work on making friendships and all connection and link to get their family visa here. What they do, they get residency visa to their family, to the wife. They don't take it. When they retire or when they finish their tenure, they don't go and living here. This is what they achieve while they're while they are in the foreign services. The same selfish work that they do, the same selfish activities they do as their leaders in Pakistan who are ruling the country. Look at what's happening. Why Pakistan become defaulter? Because of looting the public accounts money, government from the treasury. At the moment, Pakistan treasury doesn't have money to repay the loan. So which country is going to give you the loan now? And the fault of the common Pakistanis is that they are keep quiet and sleeping. They don't mind. They don't stand up against this corruption, looting, cheating, money laundering, every kind of criminal activities. And then they oppress the people who try to stand up and talk against them, against the corruption. They are putting ban on media who talk about people's issues, who talk about people's interest, who bring up front the people issues. Media channels who don't please them, who don't present fake reports, they ban the channels. They put fake cases against patriotic Pakistanis, journalists, writers, intellectuals. They either run away from the country or they file fake cases against them and put behind the bar, torture them and kill them. Very famous Pakistani senior journalist Arshad Sharif was killed in Kenya by agencies. This is what their quality is. That's why they call it top intelligence agency in the world. You know why? Not they work against the other countries' intelligence or army or people or country or any other people, but against their own people. So, how can Pakistan develop their relations with the country like Australia? People have to first change the current rulers in Pakistan. That's the only way Pakistan can still survive. People come out from their houses, from their sleep, and protest, bring all these looters and all these mafia on the road and kill them. Simple as that. Their demonstration, their protest need blood. You know, when Pakistan created, more than 10 million people gave their life, sacrificed their life. They died in the moment. They were killed by the rulers at that time, who were Britain. So now this is the time again. The new generation has to sacrifice. They don't have to keep quiet and just watching on television and see how the torture and killing and cruelty being going on by some mafia running the country. They include the army generals, the landlords, the corrupt politicians, corrupt parties, and not many. If only 100 top these corrupt elements eliminated by the public on the road, everything should be fine. And Pakistan will come back in 5 to 10 years, because Pakistanis are very intelligent, very skillful, very smart people. But the only their problem is they don't stand up now for their own rights. And they can't get the things right without their protest and without fighting with these corrupt elements. But anyway, so the thing is, when people talk about here, we are watching the news here, how India is close to Australia. Good luck to India. I mean, they are doing a good job for their country and they are getting benefit out of that. And this is how it is. If Pakistan diplomats will do that, they can also get a lot of opportunities for the people of Pakistan and the nation. But if you talk this, if I'm talking this now, obviously they will watch this, and what they do, they will more against me, which they have been doing for the last 34 years. You know, when I share one thing, when I launched this book in 2003, I spent 2 years. I didn't work at that time. I was IT consultant. I left my contract. I was so passionate about it. I was so crazy about it, and I visited different cities in Australia. Wherever I find someone living there, Pakistani families who came, who their parents and grandparents came here 125 years ago or 120 years ago, I went there, I took their interviews, I record their interviews, then I document, and this is all my own expense. Except when I was publishing, I asked few of my friends who helped me for the publishing. I published myself. So then I organized the launching ceremony. Before that, I gave the copy of the book to a couple of ministers and senators who I invited in the launching ceremony. When they read the book, they called me, some of them, and some of them talked to me on the day. They said, this book is fantastic. Few things we even didn't know. We thought that early labor came from subcontinent, were Afghan, came from Afghan. And that's why we call them Afghan town and all, or Afghan town. But now you actually open our eyes and open this fact that these were not all Afghan. They were Afghan as well, of course. But their large amount of those laborers were Pathan. And at that time, or now, even when the historian documented, they could not distinguish between Pathan, Baloch, and Afghan. So they thought that all were Afghan. So that's why they said Gan towns and Afghan and all things like book like that, which I actually studied. And I mentioned in the book that the historian who documented and wrote book on this, they all counted them as Afghan. But at least 50% were Pathan and Baloch and Sindhi. And their areas became Pakistan after 1947. So anyway, so when the launch, 2003, when there was a launching ceremony, which was held, I organized in New South Wales Australian Parliament Hall, and I invited few ministers and Minister of Horticulture Affairs at that time was the chief guest. He inaugurated this book, and I invited High Commissioner. First, he didn't want to come, and then even anyway, he came, and he must have talked to someone, and he came, and he was sitting in the audience and listening and all these things. So he asked the person sitting next to him who told me. He said, because before the launching ceremony, I distributed few copies of some dignitaries, including the High Commissioner. He saw the book. And he was asking, rather than appreciating me or help me when I was writing and I was publishing, no one helped me. They said, you're a good friend of him. He said, yes. So, are you sure he has written this book? He said, what do you mean he has written? He has. He has worked 2 years. He said, why are you asking? He said, I'm just asking because I just want to confirm maybe someone else would have done the job and he would have paid money and then he claimed that he has done this. He said he's a good writer. He has been working in the media for a long time. That's why, he went all around and I know he interviewed and he's got photos there. He made his own photos, all the book pictures, current pictures, other than the archive pictures. He made himself from his own camera. I know this and everyone knows this. This is what he's asking. So they are so, what I would use the word, I don't want to use that word, but this is the reason we are so behind. Foreign affair is a bad news. And the worst news of all the time of the foreign affair is the foreign minister today, who has got no experience, 37, 36 years old boy, Zardari's son. His whole qualification is that he is the son of Zardari. And about his own character, I don't want to talk on that. Everyone knows. Where he is going, where he is coming, why he is going. All the time he is visiting one of the countries. Why is going, no one knows. Before departing for the to the visit, when come back, no press conference, nothing. Why are you going visiting all the countries and expending taxpayers' money? Until last 10 months, he has spent millions of dollars on the visit as a foreign minister. Does he deserve to be a foreign minister? This is a joke. Then what do you expect about Pakistan to survive? No. So it's all about people of Pakistan who can make change. Otherwise, forget about. The future is very dark. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you very much. I especially recorded in English as well. I already done in Urdu for Pakistanis, and because I know many non-Pakistanis who don't understand Urdu would like to listen this and understand this. That's why I recorded in English as well. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day. Assalamu alaikum.